This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Thursday, the 11th of January, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. Tessa Bradshaw, the soldier who was detained following the killings of Khalida Shamba 43 and her 66-year-old mother, Carmelita de Leon, has been charged with their murders. Senior Homicide Bureau officials said yesterday the case against the 48-year-old man had been completed and legal advice sought from the Director of Public Prosecutions, Roger Gaspard, SC. Instructions were given to lay 2 charges of murder and 2 for misbehavior in public office against Tessa Bradshaw, the ex-husband of Shampa. The mother and daughter were shot dead at 11:15 a.m. on January 2nd at Riverside Drive, Shorelands Point, Kumano. Evidence gathered at the scene of the crime includes spent 9mm shells with the markings TTR. The markings are usually associated with rounds given to members of the Trinidad and Tobago Regiment. Another police officer from the St. Joseph Police Station is facing disciplinary action based on content that was leaked online. This time, a video was released on social media in which a police constable is seen slapping away a phone from a civilian's hand. Senior officers of the TTPS indicated the constable was attached to the St. Joseph Police Station. They noted proceedings against the officer had already begun, and the conduct was described as unacceptable and disappointing. The 2024 dry season has officially started. The Trinidad Tobago Meteorological Service said yesterday that in part of the dry season, January to March, is expected to be mostly drier than normal and will likely result in increased surface and vegetation dryness, together with increased potential for bush, forest, and landfill fires. A heat wave occurred in 2023, wreaked havoc all around, sent produce prices sky high, and caused tremendous losses to farmers. Sunday, August 27, was the hottest day for the year, at 34.7 degrees Celsius being recorded at Piaco, and 32.6 degrees Celsius at Crown Point. As the dry season progresses, there's also an increased probability for the occurrence of Saharan dust haze event, which contributes to further reduction in air quality, the TTMS advised. The TTMS is also urging the public to conserve, store, and manage water in a sustainable manner. After last Sunday's killing of laborer Akil Archer while erecting a vendor's booth at the Queen's Park Savannah, 1 month ahead of Carnival, Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines and Minister of Tourism, Culture and the Arts Randall Mitchell on Monday hosted a stakeholder meeting to discuss anti-crime measures ahead of the festival. 4 men with automatic rifles assaulted murdered Archer, who had jumped out of a tray of a truck in a fruitless bid to escape, saving his life. Meeting with Hines at the ministry reported Spain Mayor Chinua Allen and police officers, National Carnival Commission, and the Promoters Association. A ministry statement on Wednesday said Hines told the meeting collaboration was needed to address public concerns about crime and safety, particularly during the carnival period. Police are probing an incident in which a 15-year-old boy, Form 4 student from Diego Martin Secondary School, was brutally beaten unconscious by 2 Diego Martin North Secondary School students and left on the roadway on Tuesday. A taxi driver saw the unconscious teen near Jasper Avenue around 3 p.m. and took him to the Diego Martin Health Center, but on the way there, the boy had 2 epilepsy attacks. He was eventually transferred to the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex in Montauk. The boy's mother, Nahida Marshall, said she received a call while at work and rushed to be with her son. His mother said at first she got the call and there was a seizure. On the way to the health center, her daughter called and told her that her son was beat up. The boy's father died just 4 months ago. Marshall said a magnetic resonance imaging or MRI test was done, showed he had no major injuries. In news of the region, a slowdown in regional employment for the first 6 months of 2023 in 2022 saw a decline in jobs available in the region. This according to the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean and the International Labour Organization. The information contained in a new joint publication called Employment Situation in Latin America and the Caribbean, number 29 labor market, includes younger people, redistribution of care work, challenges and opportunities. The data for 2022 and the first half of 2023 indicated gaps in participation and employment rates between men and women, between youth and adult population, although at slightly lower levels than 2019, which was the last year prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. And finally, seasonal virus activity in the U.S. remains elevated and continues to rise across the U.S., according to data from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. As infections and hospitalizations mount, the CDC continues to emphasize the importance of vaccination and the value of treatment to avoid severe disease. Overall, flu-like activity is high or very high in all but 12 states. Multiple indicators, including testing positivity, emergency department visits, and hospitalizations, are elevated for respiratory viruses, including COVID-19, flu, and RSV. RSV activity has shown signs of slowing in some parts of the U.S., particularly in the South, but COVID-19 and flu activity is increasing in most of the country, particularly as winter forges on. COVID-19 viral activity in wastewater is highest in the Midwest and nationwide, higher than it's been for most of the COVID-19 pandemic. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming up at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. It is 7.5 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock on this 11124. That's right. It is the 11th day of the first month, January 2024. Of course, on the show this morning, full casting. You just heard from Paul Richards. We'll hear from Wendell Stephen. We got Richard Ragoobarsingh joining us. We got Ruben and Shane in the mix somewhere. My name is Steve Khan. Let's get straight into the WTs, see what is happening. I'm going to start out in the Southland. I got nothing to tell you about, but there is an accident by Chase Village. A car is in a median, so that is creating some serious backlog, starting from just after Freeport towards Sugargonis. That main road is building. And then from Charlieville towards the interchange, you've got some traffic. Of course, heading out to the east, you'll pick up your traffic heading to Piarco Lights, Trin City to Huey. And then from the interchange to Barataria, not too bad, but heavier by Swim Call as you head into POS. All right. Of course, apart from that, I have nothing really to tell you about traffic-wise. It's beginning to build. Taking a look what's happening with our weather for today. As Paul said, the Met Office has released it yesterday. We are officially in the dry season. It has commenced, and it's going to be dry. You know what to expect. All right, so take precautions. It is 23 degrees at Piarco International Airport, 25 at Crown Point in Tobago. What the Met Office is saying it's going to be like for today, I can just tell you. One line, sunny, hot, that's it. I'm sure it is. I'm checking here now. It was updated, mostly sunny and breezy despite the odd brisk shower near hilly areas. Clear and cool evening with a gentle breeze. 32 degrees is our max temperature for both islands today. All right, so that's your WTs. Let's see who sent us hellos first thing this morning. Before I do that, I wanted to say some birthdays. Let me just get it here quickly. It is the birthday of Junior Saldana. So happy birthday to you, Junior. Robbie Styles, yeah, he's the DJ for Kess. Denise Cunningham, it's your birthday, and Sondrelyn Kalu. Happy birthday to you guys. Some friends I have on Facebook. DJ Ray is also saying happy birthday. Going now to Renata Holasi out in Grandy. Of course, it's coming from Ray, your mom, Suzanne, out in Tampa, Florida. All right, so happy birthday to you. All the best. Oliver Man Warren, good morning. Wendy and James. Garth Celia out in Baltimore. Wayne B. in Covenant, Georgia. Marcia Rock out in Florida. Carol Guevara. CJ out in New York. Ray Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida. Josie Richardson Maria Celia, Slick Money Grip, Miss Ingrid in Tucson, Arizona. Good morning to you. Rena Boodoo Jennings, Carol Joseph. Good morning. Thank you for sending us a message via Facebook and YouTube. Good morning to Bobby. Good morning to Sunny. Good morning to Dan Raj. Good morning to Michael out in London. Good morning to Chris Tousse out in Washington, D.C. Sankofa just snuck in via WhatsApp at 318-1021. Good morning to you as well. And of course, checking some temps across our listenership. Let me just pull it up here before you all buff me again. I get buff, you know. I don't like getting buff, but I get buff. Let's start out in Toronto. Let me just do a fresh and see what's happening there. Yep, it's 0. Snowy conditions expected around 9 a.m. Ouch. Miami, you're at 19. Orlando, 8. New York, you're at 4 degrees. Let's see. Atlanta, you're at 1. London, sunny and 2. Tampa, 9. Washington, D.C., 2 degrees. L.A., yeah. I'll call it from L.A. He said it's cold. Right now, it's 8 degrees. Don't miss that kind of temperature at all. All right. So good morning to you, Paul Richards. What's happening?
Morning, Steve Kern. I went to make a cup of coffee and come back and you're still going.
You know, if I do give temps, I'll get both, you know.
You don't have to do it all at the start of the show. You know, you could spread it out, right?
Oh, when you guys talk, I don't get a chance.
You are very good at stopping us when you want to stop us.
Yeah.
Not so?
Oh, I'm being told there's an accident on South Key by Shacken Street by Courts right there. There is an accident there. Poor lady. Yeah, Paul. So what's happening?
A lot.
Always a lot. Always a lot.
A lot
Good
as usual.
Good morning to the folks out at the St. Joseph Police Station.
Again.
What is going on across there?
Trying to pull up this video of this officer slapping this man's phone out of this man's hand, which I think is so, I don't know.
And a young officer too, you know. It just so happened yesterday afternoon, I was having a convo with the Minister of National Security, Minister Hines, and I said, by the way, what is going on with St. Joseph's Police Station? He said, what are you talking about? So I said, I have a video to send for you. I sent it. He called me back. He said, what am I looking at? I said, look at the beginning of the video. And he went, oh, I'll send this across to so and so and so. I said, okay. I just like, oh boy. Yeah, so good morning to the folks out at St. Joseph Police Station. I have a lot of...
You know, it's something that Wendell always says. It has to be something with their training.
I always say that. Something out of the barracks.
Something out of the barracks that these people feel that this badge and this, in some cases, those who are precepted the weapon gives them a sense of superiority and power that they don't realize that, you know, you're there to serve people and you're not there to use it in an abusive manner, you know, and you're literally there to serve people. You know? And you're not doing yourselves any favors when you do these nonsense.
Yeah, it's a mindset that when you get into that, into the service, you're there for life.
But I didn't think it's that. I think I don't think any of them think they're there for life. Why would they think that everybody has to retire? But I think that
you know what I mean.
When they get in there, there is sometimes a lack of understanding of what your purpose is.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's not a very difficult job. It is an extremely difficult job. It is a dangerous job. It's a job where you're always at risk, some more than others. But you get the impression sometimes that they don't understand. It's not about the differential in power dynamic. It's about you are there. You have this extra power to maintain law and order and to save the public. Not to shove it down somebody's throat because you were so insecure all your life. All of a sudden you get a little power and you had to show up with it. You know, and it's really unfortunate. And it has to do with training.
Yeah.
And I mean, the stupidity of it in the age of this kind of pervasive technology where everybody can record a call, everybody has a phone with a camera. You're not going to get away with that stuff anymore. You're just not. You're not going to get away with it. Somebody's going to record you and put you out there. And you're going to, in many cases, held accountable. And this is what is happening, you know. It's not that it used to happen before, you know. It used to happen before.
We never used to see or hear it.
But just that everybody didn't have the technology to record and everybody, there was no social media where you could share it widely so that the wider population could see what is happening. All kind of police abuses used to happen decades ago. You understand? And one time we hear about the kick down door syndrome. But now it is because of the pervasiveness of technology, you're not going to get away with it.
Yeah.
You know, and somebody going to record it, like the gentleman who called with the robbery, or somebody going to have a phone out recording. Anytime people see some sort of confrontation with police, they tend to pull out their phones. You realize that?
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember Gary Griffiths, you can't really stop a civilian from filming. That's the right.
You can't. If you decide to film, if you decide to film an officer while he's doing his job, you can.
You're doing your job in the public space.
You can.
So represent yourself on your institution properly. That's all.
Yeah. You got the video?
I have the video. I'm just trying to download it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know why it's getting so much.
I haven't seen the video.
Yeah, I'll get it up before long. Yeah, so just represent yourself properly. Because you ain't doing yourself no favors, because guess what? They're going to put you out there.
Yeah, they will. Just like what they did with the female
and make a complete fool of yourself.
Yeah. I know you have the hierarchy looking down at you.
Well,
I don't know what's going on. I've been saying that for years. I don't know what they training them in the barracks. What is the length of the training? Is it 6 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always felt it was woefully inadequate. If you want the kind of officer that you say you want.
Yeah. And you know what I've been looking at, and you'll tell me I'm bored. What really is the police uniform?
I don't understand.
What is the uniform? Is it the blue pants and the gray shirt? Is it the blue workwear, whatever, I don't know what you want to call it, that
it depends
every security officer have?
But I have found that they've been consistent with their way, depending on what division they're in and what they're about. I haven't found that it's been inconsistent, to be very honest.
Yeah, because I went into a bank on Monday, and the security officer, if he had taken off his badge, I would say the security officer, I would say he's a police officer. He's wearing the same blue, the same boots. His firearm is strapped onto his waist with a tie around his leg.
That sounds very odd to me, because security services, more than anybody else, know that you cannot have a uniform that resembles law enforcement.
That's what I'm asking. It was the same blue, and I'm going, if he didn't have, whatever the security company is, and they have the big Velcro sticker on their back, saying what, superintendent police or something like that. You really don't know.
Well, that hasn't been my experience.
I know. I sat down in the bank there. I was watching this kind of going, okay.
Anyway, speaking about law enforcement and crime, the TT regiment personnel, not law enforcement, but national security, who was suspected of killing his wife and mother-in-law, has now been charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of misbehavior in public office. So, which is not surprising. I mean, were very thorough in the investigation. So I'm not particularly surprised that this has been the outcome. We all were speculating about when. Why the hell is this not going? Yeah, when he would be charged. So he's been charged upon advice from the Director of Public Prosecution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what is going on with you here now?
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
Let me say good morning going out to Trinidad and Tobago out in Florida. Good morning. Mogain's out in Aruka. Lester Craigwell, he says something in the roti they're eating, maybe too much pepper. I wonder if it's a Juman roti. I wonder if it's a shrimp roti. And that's why I like my roti with plenty pepper. Potato, plenty pepper. PPP. Hey, Corey Jilks, good morning to you. What today's Thursday? Wendell not in today. What am I saying? Slick Money Grip, good morning. Brenda Isaac, have a safe day as well.
Yeah. This, I think, some of the training. Yes, the officer has now been charged with the offense.
Yeah.
Or the offenses, sorry. And you see how it goes. And they found, of course, spent shells with the signature TT, what is it? TTR, which is usually means TT Regiment.
Again? Where? I know you said it in the news, but I was doing something.
This is at the scene of the crime, Steve.
Oh my God. Well, we know what he used.
So
good morning, Frank Clark, Donna Leeling, Ewart Rajpal, Showin Kerr. Good morning to you. Thank you for watching us on Facebook and on YouTube, or listening to us on whatever device you all have.
Yep. So that is the state of play.
There was another story I wanted to bring up here.
The other thing that we want to talk about this morning is that let me go back to my main screen before Ragoobarsingh log in and buff me. Yeah. Yeah. Is the Minister of National Security convened a meeting with the Minister of Tourism and Culture and the Arts and several other carnival stakeholders, including the NCC, related to what we were talking about yesterday, the crime situation and its impact on carnival.
Yes.
It's after BPTT canceled their planned collaboration with NCC to have a planned performance space opposite their headquarters around the Savannah. And the general context of crime in the country, people are feeling so uneasy and unsafe, and they really have many people are dying, and I put it that way. Do have a lot of confidence in the police to quell the situation because of how much these murders are happening. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what that meeting will achieve. That the meeting chaired by the Prime Minister, who heads the National Security Council, I think last week or week before, wouldn't do. You understand? So I don't know that you could get higher than the Prime Minister and the National Security Council. So, but I guess this is to apprise carnival stakeholders of what they plan to do to keep carnival celebrations and the lead up to carnival celebrations safe. So
yeah, my goddaughter told me last year she wanted to come for carnival this year, and I told her no. And then we spoke again in November. I told her no. We spoke again at midnight at New Year's. And she did bring it up. I said no. And then we spoke on Sunday, and she said, well, I am not coming. I don't want to come. So I said, no, it's, you can come and everything, but, it's just, I'll be worried. Because you don't want to go here, there, and everywhere. And I'll be worried. It's not too safe. So she was coming with two other ladies. And so they have made plans instead to go to Barbados. So that's where they're going to. I think they want to do St. Martin and Barbados. Let me get it correct.
Police are probing an incident in which a 15-year-old Form 4 Diego Martin Central
boy.
student was beaten unconscious by two Diego Martin North Secondary School students and left on a roadway.
Kudos to the taxi driver, though.
Yeah, kudos to that taxi driver.
Kudos to that taxi driver. That actually, from what I saw in the news this morning, that saw the school boy on the road and stopped and decided to take him to the hospital. So kudos to you, sir. Kudos to you. We need more people like you around. So I'm sure the mother is very grateful. And I was listening, and the mother said, well, he walks home from school, but he decided to take transport because he had to pick up his little brother. Sadly, his father passed away, as you said in your newscast, 4 months ago. So the mother is a single mother. She said she works very hard, gets seizures. So, ma'am, our prayers and thoughts are with you, with your son. I don't know, you leave home in the morning to go and get your education. Why you have to beat up somebody else from another school? You have a little issue, talk it out. You don't need to clench your fist.
Well, what usually happens what usually happens with children like that is they come from homes where that behavior is normalized.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you find that what the parents do. If the parents swear at home, the kids will swear all the time.
You find that when you see children responding like that, it's because that behavior has been normalized in their homes. So, morning, Ragoobarsingh.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, you all in blue today? We're bluing up today.
What?
We're bluing up today.
We will paint the whole town blue. Turn the whole world upside down.
Can I sing the song? Blue.
Yeah, those young men who beat up those young boys who beat up that other boy, clearly they have issues that need to be remediated.
Did they identify who they were?
Not yet. But the boy he was beaten unconscious, but he seems to be stable now, and an MRI scan showed he had no serious injuries, thank God. But I'm sure he can identify them, And it is so hard to line up the whole of Diego Martin North Secondary and let him point them out.
Yeah.
And take it from there. But they need counseling also. But as I said, we might go to their home and realize that's what happened in their homes. So, but it needs to be dealt with, and they shouldn't leave it there. A police investigation has been launched. So we wish him a full recovery.
Yeah.
Where that is concerned, Yeah, we were talking earlier on, Richard, about the officer who is on video. For some reason, I can't seem to get to download that video. I don't know why.
Slapping the
Yes, I sent it to myself, but it's not coming up for some reason.
Can I do it? I wonder.
You sent it to yourself via email?
Yeah, but I think the file may be too big or something. But I'll try again. Yeah. So
that was kind of astonishing.
No, I wasn't. To be very honest, I wasn't astonished.
What? And the fellow was in a state of a momentary shock when his phone flew.
Like the one in St. Joseph, who called St. Joseph police station.
Two shrimp.
Yeah, he's going to shock, He's going to shock because you can't believe this is an officer.
It doesn't help the picture of the TTPS at all.
Well, they have a problem.
Yeah, those two incidents don't assist.
I guess you'll never put them in the prayer room.
Oh, behave yourself.
Why?
Behave.
Seems to be the answer to everything.
And I think today? I think Cabinet is supposed to sign off on the I'm choosing my words carefully because I'm not completely sure, but akin to signing off on the issue of that regional ferry, at least between Ghana, Trinidad, and Barbados, and I assume Grenada, because Grenada is right in the middle there. But that ferry service, and they're going to be using the Galleon's Passage, I think, at least for the Ghana run, or something like that. I heard on news last night.
Yeah.
And I was like, the Galleon's Passage, because isn't the Galleon's Passage the slowest of them all?
It is. Yeah.
It is the slowest in terms of book.
They must don't mind taking 4 days to get up the islands.
Because I think when you look at APT James and Boca Reef, which are the other 2 ferries servicing Tobago, I know those are generally faster.
Those are the
Galleon's Passage, if I remember correctly, because Galleon's Passage is a little smaller. People can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my sense of it.
It is.
And I'm saying, well, why did Galleon's Passage? Because to me, you're going further, so you would want the bigger boats, at least in my mind, because you're going a longer distance, and you're heading towards South America because you're going to Ghana. But maybe, I don't know, because all 3 boats we own. Am I not correct? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, all 3 boats we own, because they bought the APT James and Boca Reef from Australia. Weren't they built by Ostal?
I think the Galleon Passage is on a lease.
No, they bought Galleon's Passage. So I think all 3 are owned by Trinidad and Tobago. But I'm subject to correction, so.
I'll dig up on that. I don't believe so, One of them is on a lease. I think it's like $250 million US a month or something. It is. Dr. Rowley said yesterday at the official opening of the Phoenix Park Industrial Estate that Cabinet will sign off on a cargo ferry service for Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, and Barbados, and he has asked the Minister of Works and Transport to ready the ferry.
Yeah, well, I think it's Galleon's Passage you're going to use.
Yeah.
Now it's the oldest of the 3, but I just for longer distances, I just figure I want the bigger boat.
What does that mean for our service in Trinidad and Tobago?
But you still have 2 ferries on it.
You still have the 2 fast ferries.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
how that would work when they go in, when one of the boats go in for their annual inspection and one is in service, it usually goes for a month.
That's my concern, but I guess they're working it out.
Yeah, I guess they'll work it out.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
Never a dull moment. All right, I got the video.
All right. Woo! Took you all of 30 minutes. Yeah, you gotta go back and get it.
No, I have it. So they come back up.
Yeah.
You didn't take the video.
I agree in station.
Crab junction, huh?
I agree now in station.
I didn't bust them now.
That's what they're trained to do?
That's what they train them in the barracks to do.
Yeah.
I agree in station. I agree in station.
Now, cadets, if somebody points a camera in your face, you have to knock it off.
And as we were saying earlier, Steve, it's a kind of arrogance,
Yeah, boy.
It's a kind of I am police, so I could do what I want.
Whatever I want.
That's the body language I get there. Don't think me, I could do what I want to. Move. You understand? I don't know. Somebody go jump out this morning and say that I'm bashing police again. Morning, ma'am.
No, I think we more bashing the training. 6 months is not enough. Clearly.
And he clearly would have seen somebody else taping that the person whose phone was knocked off his hand didn't do this taping. Somebody was not far from this person taping, but I may really care because I have one blue and green. I have police emblazoned across my back, so I could
I have a
one.
badge. But
And
the other
your colleague can't tell you, listen to me, that's not the way to do it. You understand?
Where this was, by the way,
Curab Junction
Junction.
by the bus terminal on the Eastern Main Road.
Curab. Oh, okay.
You understand? The colleague there, and okay, he ain't do nothing wrong. Let me continue on our way.
Yeah.
You know?
Teacher Ragoobarsingh.
And that's part of the problem too. It's such a it's so endemic in some ways that they think it's okay.
Yeah. That's what they train at the barracks. Maybe we should ask that as a poll question. Do you think 6 months is adequate? We should ask that. I don't think so. But they don't like when I talk about the barracks. They don't like it at all.
But I think 6 months. Is it 6 months or is it how long we take to train a police officer in Trinidad?
6 months.
6
I
months.
think that's the same time as the US, isn't it?
I think the US is 3 years.
No.
Let me find out. Let me go to Dr. Google and find out.
I think Europeans are like 2 years and stuff. Like some of the Scandinavian countries are like 2 years to become a police officer.
I think Alexander had a response. Someone sent it to me. I'm trying to download it. He's still on TV. Yeah? So yeah, great hopes. Don't realize.
Oh, he's back he's back on duty.
Apparently, but no, he's maybe on duty. You could do the TV show if you want. I mean, why would he give up a TV show? It's the source of his fame. He might be on vacation or not thing, but think about it. He ain't giving up that. You're mad? Girls.
I didn't expect that.
Yes. I mean, why would I give up that? I could spew my intellectual prowess on the population 5 days a week. I mean, how would we survive without that level of intellectual acumen?
But he's lucky. The guy with the phone was lucky. He wasn't charged for annoying language, because
True.
You understand they could go down that road to her.
Well, he was saying he do it on this and that. Yes, they could have gone on that. That's subjective road.
He said you're
I can tell you what, Richard. Good morning.
Yeah.
I just
You've
annoyed
just annoyed me. You're under
I
arrest.
just annoyed you. Good morning. I just annoy you. I've just used annoying language. Okay?
You know, I'm a big fan of. You know, I'm a big fan of all of those types of laws being removed. Those,
Yeah, me
I
too.
call them irritant laws.
See, I see the public relations
Over from
coordinator.
colonialism, annoying language.
Carol Guevara is saying Alexander's vacation starts later this month. That's what they said at the end of the year. Anyway, those are the things that are happening in your country. As we said earlier on also, that there was a meeting held on Monday called by the Minister of National Security with the Minister of Culture and the Arts and the stakeholders in the carnival space to come up with a plan or apprise them of a plan related to how we can keep carnivals safe.
Mhm.
You know, Hines advised that measures have been put in place to deal with all aspects of crime. He gave the assurance that the NCC construction site and event venues will be given similar attention. I'm sure you all feel so much safer. Measures have been put in place to deal with all aspects of crime. Is that especially for carnival or generally? I don't think all aspects of crime are being effectively dealt with, you know.
Yeah.
Nemesis says, please take calls on this issue early.
Yeah.
All right.
Galleon's Passage, Boca Reef, and APT James belong to Trinidad and Tobago. In the US, it's 21 weeks training before they are qualified to go on patrol. and then they have a probationary period.
But what is the eligibility qualification for entry into the U.S. Police Service? Isn't it a associate degree in law enforcement or something? I know in Canada it's a degree in law enforcement or criminology or some associated field. What are the qualifications for? And the police training is one thing, but a lot of jurisdictions have a pre-entry qualification that's not 5 O levels or 3 O levels, wherever it is here. You know,
I'm not so sure what the qualifications are for the US.
I just saw it. Hang on.
I knew it wasn't 2 years. I think a year's. I think it's places like is it like Norway?
Canada it's a degree.
I know like places like Norway and stuff. I think it's 2 years to become a police officer. Some of those Scandinavian countries, I think they are like 2 years before they before you graduate, if that's what the term they use to becoming a police officer. So there may be an argument. I think there is an argument for a longer training period, but I don't know.
Well, you see, they have to understand they come from all sorts of different backgrounds. So
I'm pleased to report, by the way,
Thank you.
I am pleased to
Right.
report, by the way, that go ahead, Paul.
5 steps to become a police officer in the U.S. Successfully pass a background check, acquire a degree or academy training, pass a licensing exam, undergo a psychological evaluation, continued education, and career advancement. So not less than 18 and have more than 35 years of age on the 1st of January of the year with the appointment to be made. In case of a male, good physique. So not less than 18 years and not more than 35 years of age by the 1st of January that year. So good character. Oh, this is Trinidad. This person sent me here. Possess 5 subjects in CXC examination, including English language at general proficiency 1, 2, and 3, or at basic proficiency grade 1 in all 5 subjects. So you could get him at basic grade 1. Go figure.
They still have basic though?
Clearly.
No, I don't think.
I think they commuted that already. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's only general now.
Yeah, I don't think they're basic anymore. I'm not sure, but anyway, I'm pleased to report that some of the lights in ARIMA have been dealt with in terms of TNTech addressing the issue.
Oh, you get through.
Well done.
So obviously the clamoring maybe, well, I don't know if it's me or if it's just they realized. Even though the lights they're putting up, I don't know if it's LED white light. You know, there's LED warm light and there's LED white light.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's white light, but the lights are not very bright in a sense, like the older lights that you would have had before. So sometimes they use 2 at an angle to project the light, which seems to work better than 1.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, wherever
But that's very good.
Yeah, to me, wherever you're putting it up, you need to put 2 rather than 1, because the 2 give better light. And especially in Western Broadway, if you're heading west along Broadway where the police station is, there still seems to be a little gloomy and dark, even though the police station is right there. And I really, TTPS, what is going on with the police yard? The police yard where all the police cars, police vehicles are parked. I guess officers who are on duty, or even if you as a citizen drive into that car park of the police station, and this is the National Police Station, it's like you're driving into a black hole, into another, I don't know, another universe portal, because it is black. There is no light. It is just a dark hole when you look at that police station. Where the cars, and I'm like,
I find the applause.
yeah.
But clearly we realize.
I don't understand why the police station is so dark.
I mean, the premises is just dark itself.
No, especially because the area is generally a little gloomy because there's not enough lighting. But then the actual car park of the police station itself is black. There is
I know why.
absolutely no light. And I'm like, I don't know what is going on. But there's not even a security light on. That has to be remedied. That can't stay like that. And does anybody?
It's strategy, Richard. It's strategy.
Strategy for
The
what?
bandits don't know that the police station there.
No, come on. Police station should be brightly lit so that people
in a normal way
feel confident that they're entering a place. It almost looks so dark that you're wondering, is it open almost? It's too dark. I passed twice last night looking at it.
When you get the lights fixed, that might be next. Keep talking.
Yeah, the process, Rich.
Well, some of the lights are fixed.
But you still get some progress.
There's some progress. There's some progress. So thank you, TNTech. So thank you, TNTech, for making some progress in their area because it was really scandalous.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the headlines of our dailies. Good morning to Cheryl Henry, Lester Craigwell, Finmark Collins, Mrs. R. Good morning, Cheryl Henry, Carlisle Cupid, Nemesis, Trinidad Boston. Cheryl Henry is saying, calling on the AG to take the fireworks legislation to Parliament on Friday. Yesterday, the fireworks scratch bombs was used again at 11:30 p.m. last evening. Cheryl Henry, that ain't going to no Parliament. Huh? Let's be real.
What legislation is that?
Fireworks. They said people were letting them off again late last night. CPT Singh, good morning. Richard Duku, Doreen Pierre, good morning. All right, let's get the headlines.
You see what the stop us when you want?
Yeah. I don't have papers.
Fuck, watch it, bro.
You stop us when you want, so I don't know where it's rushed through.
Stop. You have headlines? You have papers? Richard, Paul?
It is Thursday, the 11th of January, 2024. Let's start with the Express. But you say, I get it to stop us.
Could we get headlines? Could we? Because there's no parents around by you.
Today's Junior Saldina's birthday.
Yes, it is.
Happy birthday, Junior. Family.
Let's start with the Express. 4-hour highway horror. People are still encountering these huge delays in getting home in the morning. Let me tell you something. On the way down to Sapa on Tuesday, how does people deal with that traffic every day?
I ask that every single day.
Wow. All the way to Vancouver is traffic coming up to Port of Spain.
Paul, twice, morning and evening.
At 7:10 in the morning.
That's why they leave home at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
That is ridiculous. Anyway, the front page of the Daily Express is traffic held thousands of drivers stuck for hours as repairs continue on highway to South. It must have a better way. I thought they said we were going to be doing that in the night. Anyway, warning as dry season starts. Cal gets $205 million debt write-off.
Yeah, boy.
Cop facing probe over leaked video.
Full highway.
Soldier charged with murders. His name is Tessa, something or the other. Tessa Bradshaw, 43 years old. The president says charming Bass had great love for his family. And of course, more excerpts from the funeral of Basdeo Pandey on Tuesday. Let's move now to The Guardian. Crime fears trigger early carnival security talks. TTPS on high alert. What does that mean? Higher than last week? Schoolboy beaten unconscious by students. Soldier charged with murders of mom and daughter. Cop who slapped one of the civilians' hand under probe. Parents upset after St. Charles students suspended over hairstyles. Are we back there again? Farley, 70 million connector road projects ready by mid-February. State spends significant sum on Pandey's funeral, says Dr. Emery Brown. And Massey names Kerry to replace Pastor Potter.
Name that?
Kerry. an attorney, I think, attorney named Kerry. Let's move now to the news day. Heinz Mitchell meet Carnival stakeholders over crime concerns. Public Accounts Committee examines airport woes. Gopi School in Trinidad and Tobago poised to become investment hub. Trinidad and Tobago to sign Barbados-Guyana ferry deal, new passage for Galleon. Ministries have no data to show impact of higher fuel costs. Subash, Pandey would have beckoned Karen. That gives us some gravitas. Office of Disaster Preparedness and Management to start testing public alert system. And dignitaries salute Pandey. So those are trending stories in your Guardian, Express, and Newsday for today, Thursday, 11th of January, 2024.
Yeah, Wendy Carey is her name. All right, those are headlines.
Question suggestion this morning. I forgot what it was.
Was it with regards to the police service?
I think we had an earlier one too, but that's not a bad question.
Yeah.
Do you think 6 months training is enough for police officers? I certainly don't. I don't know how much socialization you can do in 6 months.
Ditto. Jeez, every day.
Would that be okay, Ragoobarsingh?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's not a question we've ever asked before, I don't think.
No, we've asked. I think we have asked it before, though.
Have we? I don't think so.
All right. Do you think 6 months is adequate?
While you do that, 222-8255, toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099. You could send a message via WhatsApp or YouTube, and of course on Facebook and YouTube and WhatsApp at 318-1021. All right.
I've added, do you think the initial 6 months of training is adequate for members of the TPS because they get training after they pass out, right?
Yeah.
For somebody jump out themselves.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So do you think the initial 6 months of training is adequate for members of the TTPS? That's our poll this morning. What do you think, listeners? Of course, in the US, it's 21 weeks. Not 21 weeks. 21 weeks.
Yeah.
Is it 21 weeks, Steve?
Average.
Yeah. So anyway, do you think the initial 6 months of training is adequate for members of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service? That's our poll this morning.
So the first case of the requirements.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, right.
Yeah, so 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, toll free, 866-525-1099. People on the web and the app, of course, you can, and wherever you're viewing us, you can send your votes by the comment section on YouTube, LinkedIn, Insta Live, Facebook, and we can get your votes there. And you can also send it via WhatsApp at 868-318-1021. So 318-1021 would be the WhatsApp number. Of course, you can put the 868 code before it. You can also vote by that method.
All right. So good morning to you, Orlando Cordner. CJ New York says no. Finbar Collins says totally adequate. Kazim Mohammed, totally adequate. Kazim Mohammed says no, add PR training. Okay. Wayne B says yes, then 2 years probation. Showin Kerr says no to the poll. Mrs. R says no. Sunny San Fernando says no, 6 months is not enough. Chris Toussaint says yes, but it's also the quality of training. Jaron says no to the poll. Vernon Clark says absolutely not to the poll. Eve, good morning, Eve from Sugarguanas. Eve says yes. Beefy Smith out in Goodwood, Tobago, says no. Julia S. Batiste says no via YouTube. Bobby says no. Training not sufficient. Yeah.
Bad.
Oh, no, it's a qualifications to get any police service.
Richard, would that constitute an assault?
I guess you could. Yeah, you could. Yeah, it could.
Yeah, that could constitute an assault.
It could.
If pointing at me menacingly could constitute an assault, licking something on my hand could constitute an assault.
Yeah, because if you had the police officer, the police officer was arrested.
Well, the fact you hit it out of my hand in an aggressive manner could constitute an assault, by my understanding of how the law works.
Mm-hmm. Ish out in Malik says yes. Esther Adams says no. Slick Money Grep says no. Lester Crigwell says no. Wayne Joseph says yes, out of Ontario, Canada. Got a couple calls coming in. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Sandy Grandy, yes.
Thank you. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
The direct answer to the question is yes. But more important than that, guys, I wish you all had seen the response from Superintendent Alexander and the attorney on the program last night. It was the most ridiculous response. As a matter of fact, the superintendent said, it is getting out of hand now. And somebody tell people that is okay to film the police, and he don't know where that come from. When a whole commissioner of police under his stewardship was saying that, and he was agreeing with him at that point.
Yeah, but under what law is it illegal to film an officer or anybody?
There's no law.
Under what law? Tell me under what law?
It was okay. There's no law. And safe on aside from that, I checked it. The police officer took 3 steps towards the man. And the lawyer on the Beyond the Tape program was saying a phone could be misconstrued as a weapon. And one set of idiot I'm going to record it and I'm going to send it to you all. The response from Beyond the Tape last night, it was the most asinine statement that I've ever heard on that show.
All right, record it and WhatsApp it to me. WhatsApp it to the 318-1021.
You sure it was the most asinine statement? There were a lot of.
Well, one of the
things on the list. There's a long list here.
It ranks in up there with the top asinine.
I'm sure that is complete yet.
Just as an aside, I was just looking up, for example, in Norway.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
In Norway, police officer training is a 3-year bachelor's degree.
Yeah, I think.
Where the first and third year take place at the college, and the second year is on the ground training in police districts.
The ones who get the most results are better trained, and the ones who have the higher prerequisites have an easier time training the officers. So, I mean, if you get what you pay for, you know.
True. Andre says no. CPT Singh says yes. Okay, somebody else says yes. Josie Richardson says yes. All right. Do you think the initial 6 months of training is adequate for members of the TTPS? Yes or no? Right. You have 2 minutes. All right. Do you think the initial 6 months of training is adequate for members of the TTPS? Yes or no? Cheryl Johnson says no. Josie Richardson says yes.
So one said no and one said yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the meme with the late Patrick Manning and the late Master Pandy?
So that
Mr. Manning is supposed to be telling Mr. Pandy, boy, they did real lovely, boy. And Mr. Pandy responds, we? You mean me? I see your people storming my funeral.
That was hilarious. Trinidadians have some serious talent in them.
Oh, yes.
I was looking up to see
Lennon Roberts.
I'm looking to see what it was in England. For England, for those joining through the traditional entry route or the degree holder route, this is 2 years. For those joining through the police constable apprenticeship, this is throughout the duration of the apprenticeship. It's 3 years.
And that's why they get better results.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Cheryl Johnson
Kevin,
says no. Lennon Roberts says yes. Beauty Culture says no to the poll. Carol Guevara says, I think the time is enough. The quality of training is poor.
so that's a yes, or she voted before?
She said yes. That's a yes. We didn't ask about the quality. We asked about the time. So she said yes, the time is enough. 7:01. News is next. I am reading, Steve. You know,
I don't have anything. I don't know.
I mean, it's in P102. It's been there since early this morning.
All right, let's get into it then.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Thursday, 11th January 2024. This is news to 7 a.m. First, the headlines. Charges for soldier detained for the murders of mom and daughter. Another officer from the St. Joseph police station faces disciplinary action based on a leaked video. Fears of increasing crime triggers carnival security talks. And a schoolboy is beaten unconscious by 2 other male students. We have details coming up next. This is major news to 7 a.m. on News Power Digital. Good morning. Tesson Bradshaw, the soldier who was detained following the killings of Khalida Shamba, 43, and her 66-year-old mother, Carmelita de Leon, has been charged for their murders. Senior Homicide Bureau officers said yesterday the case against the 48-year-old man has been completed, and legal advice sought in the afternoon from Director of Public Prosecutions, Roger Gaspard, Senior Counsel. Instructions were given to lay 2 charges of murder and 2 for misbehavior in public office against Tesson Bradshaw, the ex-husband of Shamba. Bradshaw of Mandalay Gardens, Arima, is expected to appear before Port of Spain High Court Master today. The mother and daughter were shot dead at around 11:15 a.m. on January 2nd at Riverside Drive, Shorelands Point, Kumana. Head of the Homicide Bureau, Senior Superintendent Rishi Singh, in a voice note issued to the media yesterday, commended the officers involved in the investigation for their work and in bringing the matter to a conclusion. Evidence gathered at the scene of the crime includes 6 spent 9mm shells, all with the markings TTR. The markings are usually associated with rounds given to members of the Trinidad and Tobago Regiment. Another officer from the St. Joseph Police Station is facing disciplinary action based on content that was leaked online. This time, a video was released on social media in which a police constable is seen slapping away a phone from a civilian's hand. Senior officers of the TT Police Service indicated the constable was attached to the St. Joseph Police Station. They noted proceedings against the officer had already begun, and the conduct was described as unacceptable and disappointing. While the faces of persons in the video could be seen, police are still trying to determine when the incident occurred. The incident came just a few days after another officer from the St. Joseph Police Station faced disciplinary proceedings over how she spoke to a civilian who had contacted the station to report a housebreaking at his residence. The 2024 dry season has officially started. The TNT Met Service said yesterday that part of the dry season, January to March, is expected to be mostly drier than normal and will likely result in increases in surface and vegetation dryness, together with an increase in potential for bush, forest, and landfill fires. The heat wave that occurred in 2023 wreaked havoc all around and sent produce prices sky high and caused tremendous losses to farmers. Sunday, August 27th, was the hottest day on record for the year, at 34.7 degrees Celsius being recorded at Piarco and 32.6 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. The Met Service, however, noted the dry season is not expected to be totally devoid of rainfall, as the latter part of the season is expected to be wetter than normal, while the potentials for bush, forest, and landfill fires may be reduced, but it still remains. As the dry season progresses, there's also an increased probability for the occurrence of Saharan dust haze events, which will contribute to further reduction in air quality. The TTMS is urging the public to conserve, store, and manage water usage in a sustainable manner. After last Sunday's killing of laborer Akil Archer while erecting vendors' booths at the Queen's Park Savannah, 1 month ahead of Carnival, Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines and Minister of Tourism, Culture and the Arts Randall Mitchell on Monday hosted a stakeholder meeting to discuss anti-crime measures ahead of the Carnival season. 4 men with assault rifles murdered Archer, who had jumped out of a tree of a truck in a fruitless bid to escape his attackers and save his life. Meeting at Hines' ministry reported Spin Mayor Chinua Allen and police service officers, members of the National Carnival Commission team, and the Promoters Association. A ministry statement on Wednesday said Hines told the meeting that collaboration was needed to address public concerns about crime and safety. Minister Mitchell said the meeting was called earlier than in past years to ensure anti-crime measures were already in place. NCC board member Darian Marcel lamented Archer's death. Hines-related concerns recently conveyed at his meeting with contractors about extortion attempts by alleged gang members. He advised measures have been put in place to deal with all aspects of crime. He gave the assurance that the NCC construction sites and event venues will be given similar attention. Police are now probing an incident in which a 15-year-old Form 4 Diego Martin Central Secondary student was brutally beaten unconscious by 2 Diego Martin North Secondary students and left on the roadway on Tuesday. A taxi driver saw the unconscious teen near Jasper Avenue at around 3 p.m. and took him to the Diego Martin Health Center, but on the way there, the boy had 2 epileptic attacks. He was eventually transferred to the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex in Mount Hope. His mother, Nahida Marshall, said she received a call while at work and immediately rushed to be with her son, not realizing what was initially thought to be 2 epileptic attacks turned out to be an attack on her son. She was first told her son had suffered a seizure. She explained while on her way to the health center, her daughter called and informed her son was beaten and was unconscious. The boy's father died just 4 months ago. Marshall said a magnetic resonance imaging MRI test showed he had received no major injuries. Investigations are continuing. The outcome of regional transportation service can only improve the Caribbean's food security, stimulate production across the region, create jobs, and support affordable prices of the many agricultural products which we desire on our tables and in our hotels. This is the view of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley toward the closing of discussions and the readiness to establish a regional cargo ferry service between Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, and Barbados. He made a comment while speaking at the opening of the Phoenix Park Industrial Estate on Wednesday. Dr. Rowley said this is a decision that was driven by the need to move raw materials and fresh produce from the producing areas to the consumption and manufacturing areas within the subzone of CARICOM. Meanwhile, media reports say employees who worked on constructing ETEC's Phoenix Park Industrial Estate in Point Lisas protested on Wednesday. The report said the workers were not paid after working for a subcontractor who is also yet to be paid. They held placards near the entrance in a bid to get the attention of company officials and dignitaries who attended the opening event. In international news, seasonal virus activity in the U.S. remains elevated and continues to rise across the U.S., according to data from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. As infections and hospitalizations mount, the CDC continues to emphasize the importance of vaccination and the value of treatment to avoid severe disease. Overall, flu-like activity is high or very high in all but a dozen states. Multiple indicators, including test positivity, emergency department visits, and hospitalizations are related to elevated respiratory virus illnesses, including COVID-19, the flu, and RSV. RSV activity has shown signs of slowing in some parts of the U.S., particularly in the South where it's warmer. But COVID-19 and flu activity is increasing in most parts of the U.S. COVID-19 viral activity in wastewater is highest in the Midwest and nationwide, and is higher than it has been for most of the COVID-19 pandemic. Finally, soldiers are on the streets in several cities in Ecuador as the country reels from an unprecedented day of violence. Masked gunmen stormed a public TV studio during a live broadcast in the city of Guayaquil, and bombs were detonated across Ecuador on Tuesday. More than 130 prison staff are being held hostage by inmates in 5 prison installations. A 60-day state of emergency began on Monday after a notorious gangster vanished from his prison cell. And that is major news to 7 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We end with headlines once again. Charges for the soldier detained for the murders of a mother and daughter in Trinidad and Tobago. Another officer from the St. Joseph Police Station faces disciplinary action based on a leaked video online. Fears an increasing crime triggers convoy security talks. And a schoolboy is beaten unconscious by 2 male students in Diego Martin. That is major news to 7 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have headlines coming up at 8 a.m. with major news once again at 12 noon.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All righty. Thank you, Paul, for our major news. Of course, you can join him again at 8 o'clock for a news brief. Weather-wise, your weather forecast for today is 24 degrees at Piarco International Airport, 26 at Crown Point in Tobago. The Met Office is saying mostly sunny and breezy despite the odd brisk shower near hilly areas. Clear and cool evening with a gentle breeze. All right, so that's our weather forecast. Let's get into our traffic update, see what's happening on the highways and on the byways. A couple of things to tell you about is a burst water main spewing in the air at Todd's Road. I've sent a request to WASA, so hope they'll get it rectified quickly. There's a protest, burning of tires and blocking the roads at Lachus Road in Penal. All right, so if you have to pass that way, expect some delays. Traffic-wise, yeah, pretty much. Where you're going to get it, you will get it. It's heavy already this morning, going to Santa Rosa, Piarco, straight up towards UE, Curepe, the Port of Spain, leaving Chaguanas, Staking, going to Ibis Gardens. That is also a bit heavy. The Solo, I know most of you want to know about that one. San Fernando, you're lighter than usual, oddly. But the Solo is not too bad until you get by Chase Village, and just before Monroe Road is where you're going to pick up your traffic. Diego Martin, Maraval, it's all heavy. All right. Of course, let me see if I have any more votes here. I got Sexy San Fernando saying no to the poll. All right. Thank you, Beauty Culture. All right. So, Rich, you're there. You have the results of the poll, which you'll give us in 20 seconds.
The journey begins Saturday, 20th January. Chutney Soca Monarchs semifinals. 30 artists battle for a place of the grand final of CSM. The 2024 Chutney Soca Monarchs semifinals. The Rig, Gulfview, La Romaine. Absolutely free to the public. Message 789-3874 or email southexevents@gmail.com. CSM 2024, sponsored by National Carnival Commission, B-Mobile, Harrier Suites, Media Partners, Boom Champions, Lit 102.3, Power 102, IETV, Social Media Partners, Masala Entertainment, and West Indian Chutney Music.
All right, Rich. I got another vote that just came in. Cheryl Henry says no. All right. The results of our morning poll. We asked you, do you think the initial 6 months of trading is adequate for members of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service?
Right. So we had 33 people voting in the allotted time. Of the 33 people voting, 19 of you said no. You do not think it's enough time, and 14 of you said yes. So 14 said yes, 19 said no, for a total of 33 people voting in the allotted time. Of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day, through all programming, and we'll give you the final results tomorrow, which will be Friday because today is Thursday, and the weekend begins tonight at a second after midnight.
I have a question, and it's a sincere question. What are the entry requirements to a KFC or fast food outlets?
You want me to Google that? Because I
Is it three CXC or 5 CXC? So we're saying the entry level to enter the police service, train for 6 months and be precepted is 6 months, and that is enough. Okay, take what you get. You see, the entry level were higher, like an associate degree in criminology, law enforcement, or some related discipline. I could understand a 6-month training and then continuous training. But you come in with 5 CXC passes, 5, and you're getting 6-month training, and you really think we could re-socialize you or train you in a particular manner to carry a gun? Good luck.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
it's interesting to see the amount of time at least European countries have, ranging from 2 to 3 years.
Because they understand if you are going to be given more power or authority to detain someone's liberties and to carry out functions of law enforcement and understand the law and understand what is required of you in a service-oriented industry, or you could do that in 6 months, or you could train with much lower pre-qualification entry levels requirements. You understand? You're basically starting off from a very rudimentary level. Anybody who teaches you in 6 months, you really can't do a lot of training for any human being. I teach adult students all the time. In 6 months, it is very difficult. I do a course in 3.5 months. A course, 1 course. You understand? 1 semester. So the police have law enforcement, law, public engagement, communication, firearm training in 6 months. Good luck. It's not going to work the way you want it to work.
All right. Well, Lincoln sent me the link. It is from TV6. It is from Beyond the Tape from yesterday. So I'm going to play that now. All right. This is what he was talking about.
Hear the response that a whole superintendent of police and a lawyer have to make in response to this incident happening with this police officer on Beyond the Tape tonight.
We do have another video for you.
Yeah, I wanted to take a look at this video because this is getting out of control as far as I'm concerned, and I would prefer that you make these statements because I would not want to make the statement that I am feeling or I'm seeing here with respect to this. This thing has gone too far, and somebody has encouraged this type of behavior from the citizenry. Take a look at this video, Coppola, and give me your legal opinion on how we're going forward.
So they're playing the video of the police officer at Curb Junction yesterday afternoon. Well, yesterday morning. And we get the idea. They don't need to play it, right?
And say a lot of things. But even the civilian population has an issue when persons are taking them and all up in their face with their cameras. That's what happens to you. I've seen it get. Kopolali, give me your opinion based on this. I have nothing else to say concerning this.
Well, I don't know whether that particular video is subject to any investigation, Senior Superintendent, by virtue of the actions of or the alleged actions, I should say. But what I will say, generally speaking, we have spoken at length in relation to the protection that are afforded to police officers for the execution of, and let me quote, their public duties. Mm-hmm. When police officers are dressed in uniform, or even if they are in plainclothes and they are presenting themselves to a situation officially, they are protected by the law. And the law, the protection that is afforded to them is the protection to ensure that they are able to carry out their duties. Impeding, threatening, obstructing are very, very serious offenses. Very, very serious offenses, and the law was amended. If I recall, Senior Superintendent, it's now into the realm of 10 plus years, if I didn't mistake. So there is a very, very serious offense. When the state, through the police, is coming to do their work, members of the public, you ought to be very careful that you are not bordering on committing criminal offenses, or in a situation like that, Senior Superintendent, if we are not certain that that's a camera, we ought to be careful what you may be presenting yourself for, where there may be an honest belief, where the police may go into what? A defensive mode. So be careful when you're dipping your hands in your pocket, when you're presenting objects. Be very, very careful, members of the public. Yes, we know that we have asked police officers to be diplomatic, stay within the confines of the law when they are treating with and executing their duties. And we want you all to also take a read and have an appreciation what acts or conduct may amount to impeding and threatening and obstructing. So you will be on the safe side and you will not find yourself in a police cell for presenting an object that may amount to an obstruction of the police at that particular point in time.
You know what is highly disturbing to me? Sometimes we hear persons.
Please.
We look at certain person's approach. And you, as a trained person in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, you understand what is happening on the nation streets. We see persons with AR-15 and different type of weapons as the case may be.
How you reach weapon?
When you're approaching someone, Mr.
How you reach weapon?
All right, we
can stop now.
I don't want the commentary.
So what this attorney is saying, that a police officer cannot tell the difference between a phone and a gun. Let me start with that. And filming an officer is impeding him or her in executing their duty. Okay?
That is an extremely liberal and very wide interpretation of obstruction.
Richard Ragoobarsingh, he talking dotishness. The only thing he said that made sense to me was if an officer is coming toward you and you dip your hand in your pockets.
Correct.
That may be of great concern. That is a valid point. Okay? An officer coming toward you and you're dipping your hand in your pocket is something that they could feel threatened by. But you pull out your phone is obvious, so an officer can identify a phone.
Yeah. And not only that, the
so he thought it was a gun and he slapped it out his hand.
And the civilian actually said, I'm going to take a picture.
You understand?
He says something like that. So that indicates this is not a threat at all. I'm just taking a picture of your action.
Absolutely right. That is why they were posted body cams.
Exactly.
That you're absolutely right. Okay?
Nail on the head. Head of the class.
So he see a phone that could have been, oh my God, it could be a gun or a weapon.
No,
so he's
that in my opinion, that is indefensible. That is just an indication of lack of self-control, which goes back to training.
If I Mrs. Arden make comments and your comments that
you are annoyed enough as the police officer, you are so annoyed that at whatever the but I can't even say it's a confrontation, whatever the incident is.
It's not a confrontation.
The prisoner says, I'm going to take a picture of you, and you flick the phone out of their hands.
Let's reverse engineer that scene a bit. If the officer thought the person holding the phone was in breach of the law in some way, would he just walk away after flicking the phone? Would he continue to engage the person? To question him about something? So it seems to me the only issue this officer has was that this person was filming him or taking a picture. No, man. Yeah. No.
And you're allowed to take pictures and you're allowed to film.
And they could
tell you don't be too close if it's that
exactly.
Incident taking place.
You're too close. You are too close to this scene. Please move back. So what are they going to say next? That members in the media shouldn't be filming either.
But that has been clarified by several commissioners of
police.
Several
commissioners of police
have said that you can tape and take pictures. So I'm not
but
so sure.
You have special agent number 1 on TV talking this dotishness.
I'm not so sure why.
And encouraging the attorney to give drivel about it too.
Yeah, I mean, come on. That is not obstructing. That would be a very wide You're really trying to
So
fish.
if a
Hold on,
member of the media comes with a camera and starts to film police officers, you're gonna get stopped too. Okay, don't film me. Look, they give me a break now. 222 talk.
Mm-hmm.
Two
To
two
be
two.
taking your calls, even though there's nobody to answer it, but 222-8255.
And there would be no investigation or potential disciplinary action if he did something right there. The police have confirmed an investigation has begun into that action that they call undesirable. Well, I'm paraphrasing here. Okay, it is almost like they start from a position that civilians have less rights than them.
But the police have already said they're investigating the incident. You're right, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And as a disciplinary issue, not so. Did they
As
use
a
it with
disciplinary issue?
Yeah, so I'm not so sure why the narrative from another police officer is inconsistent with what how the TTPS hierarchy is approaching.
Isn't that normal? He was inconsistent with what the Prime Minister was saying in the Ministry of National Security was saying some months ago. So why would this surprise you? He on his own beat.
So anyway, we'll see.
Steve is not here yet to take your calls. And the phone could look like a gun. Yeah, okay, I could see that. In a different universe, the Twilight Zone. I agree that if you're standing and you're facing an officer, putting your hand in your pocket could be considered as a threat. I fully agree with that. But filming somebody, impeding them in carrying out the duty? Really? Look, you ease me up now. You know much evidence the public give for situations to clarify situations where officers say one thing and something else happened because they were filming? Look, 222 talk. Steve is back.
Yeah. My line full up, so let's have some calls.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Hey, pleasant morning, Richard, Steve, Paul.
Morning,
Wendell. I could recall a time I was on the highway and I see an incident where a police inspector, some years back, rough a camera out of somebody's hand and take out the film. And you see that happen right here. And I see police brutalize people for taking out picture. But you know when you're in the States, you know people are walking around with a camcorder taking out police organ.
Yes.
So I wonder what's going on in Trinidad when I see that boy.
Not only that, they can actually ask for the supervisor on duty.
Yeah.
If they feel it's unjust.
Another thing I want to make a statement. Trinity Mall, or you have no lights in all your car park. Where Republic Bank booters have no lights for the past 2 days, have no lights outside in that car park. Dark. I was listening to you talking about the darkness in Arima and the police station with the cars or whatever. Trinity Mall, like the police station, I no light there. And I asked some people some questions. I said, if you come out this morning in the night around 6:30, again that no. You will hold up the Trinity Mall. Let's fix all the lights there. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Especially if it's by the ATM booth, is that what you're talking
exactly,
about?
precisely. That is
if it's by the ATM booth, because people will constantly go there.
It's a high risk area. It's a high risk area. People are taking out money.
There, or they go by Scotia Bank.
Yeah. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen, again. Paul, you asked the question why we the subject ourselves to that show. This is the reason I the subject myself to that show. You see that kind of idiocy and ludicrous statements being brandished about on national airways that directly contradicts the actions of the police service. Something wrong. We need to keep this guy in check and that program in check. And
Can I ask you something, Lincoln?
Go ahead.
You take away your girlfriend?
No! Marlon Hopkinson has always made that allegation. I have no problem with police.
I feel the girl alone.
My sister was a TTPS person. My cousin is a present senior police officer, and I have personal friends, good personal friends who is police officers.
I ain't talking about general police officer. I'm talking about
what I don't like, Paul. What I don't like is two things that please me: stupid people and bad police.
You have real problems in his life.
And that show is a combination of both. So I like to keep them in check.
Well, I don't know that he's a bad police officer. He's talking some douchishness sometimes, but I don't know that he's a bad police.
Not him. I'm not speaking about him. I'm speaking about general bad police. The police officer who said the whole of the man is a bad police.
Well, he's a misguided, untrained officer who has some issues that need to be dealt with. I don't know he's a bad police. Bad police is pretty wide, and bad police could mean that he is involved. That to me, that was indiscipline. I don't know that it raises to the point of bad police, but we could agree to disagree.
And I don't agree with Steve about it being stemmed from the barracks. I think human beings are human beings, and the DNA does come out. If there's a bully, whether the barracks train you or not, you're going to be a bully.
But you know that training can reverse that sort of tendencies, that sort of behavior, and that's what we're talking about with training.
It can, but sometimes people slip through the cracks. Because I don't believe there's any training that tells you to hit away a phone from a man's hand. However, and if you watch the video, you saw the video this morning, the police took not one, not two, 3 steps towards this man with a phone to hit the phone up. So you couldn't feel that it was a weapon. You couldn't, and if you in broad daylight suspect that a man had a weapon in his hand and it's a phone, then you don't need to be a police officer.
Well, I think what Alexander and the attorney said with what this police officer may be interpreting. I think this police officer clearly
I don't think this police officer interpreted
it was a phone and didn't want to be filmed. So that confirming that one talk there with this is a little stretch.
No.
The whole narration that they said had nothing to do with the video. Nothing at all to do with the video.
They was talking douchishness.
Right? And then Marlon jumping up now about some ridiculous thing about in a riot, if people pull out a phone, it might be perceived as a gun in a riot. He stretched the thing to a whole different avenue. I was like, wow. The level of stupidity I watched on that program last night, I was like, oh my God.
I think it's entertaining to you.
But then everybody now don't watch the issues and just fine. Police take my woman and I have a problem. But when it hits your doorstep, everybody go say, no.
Where is that? The horn or the show?
The incident, police interaction, bad police interaction. Yes, that bad police interaction, bad treatment from the TTPS. You understand? When it happens to you, then everybody go to see, well, hey.
Thank you. All
right. Thank you. All right. 222-8255. Toll free. North America, it's 866-525-1099. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Ragoobarsingh.
When I hear these stories and see these videos, I just wonder if our Commissioner of Police, Ulakis Christopher, Herwood Christopher, if she doesn't tell herself, Lord, it is time that I instruct these officers to wear body cam. I mean, what else are we waiting? What else they waiting on? Good Lord, Commissioner of Police, Lord. I mean, this thing, listen, now this thing with the cell phone, the only part of that, what Lincoln thing there, is a person dipping into their pockets. I could remember years ago, a young fella was coming out of an apartment building in Brooklyn, and the police told him, the first thing they say, hands in the air, like Marshall. And he proceeded to dip in his pocket to take out his ID. Nobody asks you for no ID. And the police opened fire and kill that boy years ago. That could have been in the 80s. And Al Sharpton, he was this activist. You know what he said? Whenever police stop y'all, do not reach for nothing, whether you're driving or you're walking. Just put your hands in the air like in a soca party, I will say. And this is what I mean, I remember reading the story concerning former U.S. Ambassador to Trinidad, John Estrada. John Estrada spoke about going on his boat down in some marina, some out there in, I think it's Florida, he was, or wherever. And some woman call and say, oh, a black man, time you see a black man on a boat, he come into thief or whatever, and she called the police. And as he driving out, the police was coming towards them, about 3 cars on a lonely road. Like we say, you're coming out of Macarip. And he said, when he saw that, he said, oh, God, tonight are dead. Imagine that, eh? And he said, he stopped and he put his hands up. One hand out the window and the other one up. And he said, you know what saved him that night? The officer who was in charge of the whole exercise looked at his number plate. And when he saw the number plate, he realized he was a former, like this, give them a certain number plate, a former Marine, he was some sergeant major. He said that is what saved him. You know what, the officer came to his window and say, good night, sir, that, and he told his officer, stand down. I say, wow. No, he could have gone reach in his glove compartment to show ID. They ask you for no ID. So all you please, careful, because going in your pocket, it could be pursued. You ain't pull it out yet, but these trigger-happy cops could say, hey, is a gun he reaching for. Careful.
All right.
Y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you, Diego Martin. 222-8255. Toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099 on WhatsApp at 318-1021. Also send us a message on YouTube and on Facebook, all right? It's the biggest and best. South X Promotions presents the Chutney Soca Monarch semifinals happening next week, Saturday, the 20th day of January at the Rig Restaurant and Bar. The energy starts at 8 p.m. We bring back the vibes, the energy, and the experience. Vibe for their favorite artist. For further info, call 789-3874. That's 789-3874. The Chutney Soca Monarch semifinals at the Rig Restaurants, Saturday, 20th January. And it's absolutely free to the public.
And why those kinds of shootings like that they're talking about in Brooklyn and America is replete with examples, does not happen in Europe in the same number of frequency.
But they have different gun laws, gun ownership laws, gun carrying laws.
Yeah, but not only, but even if somebody is dipping in, if you stop somebody and they dip into the pocket for the phone or the ID, you have a taser gun. Why must you opt for the fatal shot?
Because in the US, everybody has a gun.
And that taser would bring you down. So obviously it's also training. Where it's a whole mix of things. When people have that kind of power, when police officers, and in all states, police officers have a certain amount of power in terms of arrest, in terms of the ability to draw up a weapon against you, in terms of security, they have to be well trained. They have to be, because you're operating as an agent of the state. And I get you. You have to, I mean, as a citizen, you have to be also cautious, and you can't be dipping into your pocket, etc. But why do you always have to shoot to kill? Why is it the United States has the biggest amount of those kinds of issues, the largest amount? And they're also a country with a short window of training. Because as Steve would have said, it's 21 weeks. And I just looked at 2 European countries and they were already at 2 to 3 years. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't it? Isn't it Canadians that are part of the training process in Trinidad too? At least they used to be in the barracks. I think the Canadians are also part of training police officers in Trinidad, if I remember correctly. I don't know if that's changed. I know there was a partnership of some sort. At least somewhere in the back of my mind, I remember that. So I don't know if that has changed. I don't know what's going on. But obviously, there are too many incidents that crop up. Especially from a customer service oriented perspective. And ironically, it's young police officers. It's the younger ones.
Yeah. Less training.
It's not the older ones. I don't know.
The requirements to be a an officer of the TTPS. You ready for it? Must be a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. Be required to pass a medical examination conducted by a government medical officer nominated for the purpose. Be required to undergo a polygraph test. Be of good character, as evidenced by police certificate of character. Be not less than 18 years of age. In the case of a male, be good physique and at least 167 centimeters in height. A female, be of good physique and less than 150 centimeters of height. Possesses passes in 5 subjects in CXC examinations, including English language, general proficiency at grade 1, 2, or 3, or at basic proficiency at grades 1 in all 5 subjects of 5 GCE. Must have a driver's permit. Required to pass a physical examination, an agility test, and pass a written exam.
What? Agility test. Ready? Want to miss pass the agility test?
Let me go to KFC now. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, Megan. You know there are some laws in Florida and in the next part where Wendell he went. The law is if a policeman or if a citizen suspect their life in threat, they go shoot you. You know about that law? Huh?
No, can't say.
Yes. Yeah, brother. If they suspect their life on that threat, they go shoot you. That law in Trinidad, you could remember oldest night, somewhere in Marcus, we had an oldest night party where I inspector police or some high ranking policeman shoot a man because the man pull out a toy gun and he said he didn't know it was a toy gun.
But if someone is stupid enough to pull out a toy gun and point it at an officer, sad be the portion. That's a stupid thing to do.
And I see people still bad at that toy gun and get the children right now. So I don't know what we're trying to train with children and all too, but the law is if an officer apprehended, you're supposed to stop, put your hand up in the air or keep your hand on the steering wheel. But I don't know. Everybody needs to be trained properly. The society needs to be trained and the police need to be trained. So when things happen, I don't know, because I was in Jersey at the time and a young lady told me, when the police and them pull you up and they tell you, come out, put your hand on the wall or put your hand on the car hood, that's all you have to do. You understand? But somebody cussing on police and making noise in police organ, you know, boy, the whole society needs to re-educate and be retrained. All right.
All right, Mr. Patrick, thank you.
The funeral for the mother and daughter took place yesterday.
What did it?
Extremely sad situation. Khalida Shamba, who was 43, and Carmelita de Leon, who was 66. And now Tesson Bradshaw, a soldier. Does it mean, it means that he's immediately dishonorably discharged. upon being charged. Richard, would that be so, or they have to wait until the case is completed?
Well, you remember you're innocent until proven guilty.
Mhm.
So I suppose he would be suspended. But the defense force is a little different, though.
Yeah.
They have their own rules, and so it's hard for me. But generally, you have to wait on the conviction.
Right. Good morning.
Yeah, hey, fellas. What's up? Yeah, what Trinity was talking about is the stand your ground law, where Trayvon Martin was, remember the famous case with that guy, Trayvon Martin got shot, and I was on a stand your ground. When somebody feels threatened, they have the right to pull your gun.
In some states.
Yeah, in some states, and it have a kind of it had a big debate on that because, colored people of color and black and people of color have activists are saying, because the perception is right in anybody could stand your ground. That's why when the opposition leader was talking about stand your ground, it have real resonance to those things and how you clarify this thing about stand your ground because it was in a public space and Trayvon Martin was just walking towards the guy. It was nighttime. He felt threatened, no verbal, and he did what he did. And that went on for a while. And he had prior cases before. He had prior cases. And then after the case, he was held on another violent charge. The guy who shot Trayvon Martin was held on a violent. So he had this history of violence. So stand your ground laws have real kind of complications and implications for people who either have colorblind issues, racist thing, all kind of thing, where or you just a person on high anxiety, you could always say that I feel threatened. I feel threatened by a guy in a hood. I feel threatened by a guy in a dreadlocks. I feel threatened by this guy because he just muscular and black, or he just muscular, and it's nighttime. And so Tanya Brown have a lot of, and that's what they will. So just sharing that. Okay. So.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Somebody in the know told me that in the defense force he would be discharged.
He'd be discharged because they have different standard they operate by. From the time you're charged with something as serious as murder, you'd be discharged.
Actually, it's Bernadette Brown.
Yeah. They don't play. Police is tap around and wait until this and that and say they're going to take you to court and thing. No. TTDF don't play. If they can handle it internally, they handle it internally. The ones that involves a criminal charge by the state, yeah, they don't play.
All right, we are still taking your calls. We have 10 minutes again.
I think they'll have to watch him though, because the police also reported that when he was picked up in Arima, some hours after, he seemed disoriented and out of it.
Yeah, it's been reported that way, yes.
So, never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment.
He was disoriented and out of it.
Yeah, so he seemed. Then they asked him where he was going. He didn't seem to know where he was going, and he was just walking. And they called out to him, and he didn't resist. But he seemed. The reports indicated he seemed disoriented and out of it. Like he wasn't in full control of his faculties at that point. But he just allegedly shoot the woman. Yes. You understand? Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, so I didn't think it could be the normal here, and then you kind of know that the police looking for you at that point, and they will eventually find you, and well, your life is going to take a drastic turn for the worse, in many different ways. So you're going to be allowed of it, There you go. Say hello. How are you? Everything's all right? No. Good morning to Adrian Kutu, Dexter Ragunanan, Ray Rodriguez, Karen Dantese. Is it Dantes? Sherwin Kerr, Mars versus Venus, Finbar Collins, and of course, Mrs. R. Effervescent Mrs. R.
Good morning, caller.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning. Captain Ron, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, and Happy New Year to you guys.
All the best to you as well.
Same to you.
Yes. First of all, the gentleman who called previously, I just want to correct something he said about Trevor Martin walking to the guy. Trevor Martin wasn't doing anything. Where I live, actually, in Orlando, is right about 3 miles away from where the incident happened. Trevor Martin was walking from the store to his house. And George Zimmerman confronted because of his racist belief or whatever, and then used the standard ground thing. He was standing his ground. He was told by the police officers, do not approach this guy, this young man. And he still went to do it. He had a gun, and he just wanted to get rid of, kill the guy. So this is a next thing we have to worry about by standing your ground. I have my guns too. I have my carry permit, but I don't walk with a gun because the first thing you want to do, something happen, you want to rely on your gun assassin. But what people need to realize, and my police friends always tell me, whether you're wrong or right in your stand the ground stuff, you still will be arrested. You're still going to be arrested and be guilty until proven innocent. And that's how it goes. So unless you know, I mean, Mary, you guys, most of your lawyers, the lawyers in America, citizen, you have the right to protect your life, your family's life, your property. That's the constitutional right you have. So when anyone comes in your house, you protect yourself. I agree with that. We all do that. But I don't believe in still walking with a gun. Because maybe in Trinidad it will work, but people, you have to have that kind of stuff. You have to show that you have the proper way of securing your gun home, and you have to walk with a gun, and nobody must know you have a gun. That's part of the law, the rule. It must not be easily seen, and you cannot just pull it out. If you pull it out, you have to fire. This is the kind of thing that happens. You can't just pull it out to show people and to scare people off. You have to use it. Either to use it to hold somebody until the police get there or something. So standing ground thing is not as easy as people like to make it sound. Something you have to take into account that if you use it, whether you're wrong or right, you will be arrested. And I personally feel that Trinidad and Tobago is not ready for standard ground as yet. Everybody have a gun because these, from what I'm seeing, I've been looking at some videos on YouTube about people, these bandits in Trinidad. Some of these guys, they don't care and they think they have no regard for life. And the way how after they make a kill, they go and they make a video and show it off. And I don't understand how the police officers are not doing anything. I guess some are, and then you were talking about Alexander. I respect him as a police officer. My father was a police officer in Trinidad and Tobago. He died a police officer in Trinidad and Tobago. But the thing is, I feel that Mr. Alexander, some of his attitude needs to be more professional. That's why I don't like to look at the show. I look at John Allen actually more every day, wherever I am. Anyway, gentlemen, keep up the good work.
Thank you, Captain Ron. All the best to you.
Let us take time to congratulate again Michael Sherry, who is going to Netflix in a new Regina King movie called Shirley, which is going to be released on Netflix.
Well, he's not going. It was filmed already. Yes.
March 22nd is the debut date for the show called Shirley, starring Regina King, Terrence Howard, Lucas Hedges, W. Earl Brown, Andre Holland, and Michael Sherry.
Mm.
I'm very proud of him. I
Mm.
hope I can talk to him tomorrow. Steve, hint.
Yeah, I'll WhatsApp him. Is he? I wonder if he's here.
The trailer started to circulate on Netflix and generally, and I mean that's a big move for one of our very talented sons of the soil, actor Michael Sherry, and this big role opposite some huge Hollywood stars. So I think it's the beginning of great things internationally for Michael, because he's done some fantastic work locally and regionally.
Yeah. He's been in some international films before too.
Mm-hmm. So good for him. Yeah. That's another great bit of news being circulated on all the media houses yesterday. And I understand he's going to be making some press stops with Regina King and the gang from the movie Shirley, who is a presidential candidate in the U.S., a black presidential candidate. That's what the movie is about.
Yeah, the first female black
Is he
president.
playing her husband or something? Or somebody else?
A husband.
Which means he's right next to the lead in the movie.
Yeah, he's playing her husband. Because she actually had a Caribbean husband, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're very, very proud of Michael Sherry.
He's been doing some great stuff.
So we're looking forward to that on March 22nd. We have viewing parties and all of that. You know.
What's the name of the show again?
Shirley.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It's about what's the candidate's name? Shirley Chisholm. And it chronicles her groundbreaking run for president, the first female and black run for president in 1972. Chisholm became the first black candidate to seek a major party's nomination for president, but she was already a pioneer. In 1968, the Brooklyn native made history as the first black woman elected to the U.S. Congress. Right? It's written and directed by John Ridley, the show that is. So you're seeing Michael Sherry over in many of the trailers for the movie, because Michael plays her husband. So we're looking forward to that and more great stuff from Michael. Great. And where's my applause that I found earlier this
week? You had a few to choose from. Just choose one. Anyone. There you go. Yeah.
All right, enough for you. All right, you all have a wonderful day. Be safe, share love, smile. It's good for your health. And remember to let go and let God. All in one.
Oh, geez, that's everybody right there.
Of course, the weekend begins tonight. People are the second after midnight. And don't you forget it, because tomorrow is Friday. So you should already have a smile on your face. Speak to you bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a great day, whatever you do, and smile and laugh. It's good for your health.
I reached out to Michael Cherry, so I'm just waiting. All right, Rich, start with you tomorrow. Of course, Wendell will join the program tomorrow. And don't forget, just a reminder of our morning poll. Did I give you guys the results for our poll from yesterday? Well, I think I better do that now. Let me just send this across to the guys, and I'll give you the results of our poll from yesterday. All right. So yesterday we asked you. I don't think I did, I did not. Yesterday we asked you, do you think Karen Nunez Teixeira and Timothy Hamill-Smith were justified in jumping the fence to attend the funeral of Basdeo Pandey? That was the poll yesterday. %63% said no. 63% said no. They were not justified. All right. Let me just tell you as well, it's the biggest and best South X Promotions presents the Chutney Soca Monarch semifinals. It's happening next week, Saturday, at the Rig Restaurant and Bar. That's the 20th of January. The energy starts at 8 p.m. We bring back the vibes, the energy, the experience. Vie for your favorite artist as well. For further information, you can call the hotline at 789-3874. That's 3874. The Chutney Soca Monarch semifinals at the Rig Restaurant and Bar next week, Saturday, the 20th day of January. And it's free to the public. All right, let's get in.